Hi Maria. Okay, first video, vibrato. I've been telling you to do vibrato from your elbow, but I realized I don't really do it from my elbow. I do it more from my wrist, and I'll show you what I mean. I have two contact points that are important. Here, like the lower part of my thumb, and then the finger that's on the string. So actually the violin you should be holding more or less with your chin, but when you have your hand there, you can have this kind of thing right here. You also touch it with your index finger joint there, but that's almost irrelevant when you put your finger down, because then you can be vibrating with a motion mostly coming from your wrist. It's starting with your elbow, but it's sort of being amplified by your wrist, I would say. Actually, you could even just ignore the elbow sometimes, and it's just your wrist. But the point is that you are rocking back and forth on your finger that's down. And you're also, that motion is coming here, so it's almost like you're kind of grasping the violin between your thumb and the finger that's down. And when you go up high, that point is it still remains the same. You're kind of that thumb contact is important somehow. It's like you're moving. You can't ignore that thumb contact. It's more like you're kind of like bringing the violin back and forth. I can do it without the thumb. So I guess the thumb it just makes it easier. I kind of let my joint go like this. I guess some people don't like that. Some people think you should keep it like that, but I let it go like that. So it's in between just wrist and elbow, because if it was just elbow, it would be like this. Which is hard to do fast and gets tiring. And if it's just wrist, I feel like there's more, the violin gets shaken up and down more because you're just having this motion. But if it's in between, think of it as like the impulse starts in your elbow, but you have almost no motion there, and it's like you're amplifying it with your wrist. It's like you have a firm piece of grass, and you're just barely moving the bottom, and the top is getting woven around, waved around. It's like that. So it's definitely like in the wrist, but it's sort of like an impulse that comes from the elbow, and you can grasp lightly, always lightly, not too hard. Not too hard, just enough. And I've said before, if you lessen the pressure on your finger just a little bit, it should actually make your finger slide around. But because your finger's pressing a little harder, it's anchored. It's actually the easiest to practice this, ironically, up in high positions. I don't know why, but if you go like third position, Or if you slide even higher, just slide up higher. That seems like almost easier. Also, your third finger, ring finger, is the easiest finger to do vibrato with, I find. Probably because it gives you the most motion with rocking back and forth when your thumb is anchored there. It's harder because you have less flexibility with your first finger, your thumb being anchored there a bit. But the second and third are easier. Actually, the fourth gets hard again because it's just a weaker finger. But second and third are easy. So if you're getting frustrated, try going up high. And just do these two notes. And you can try different speeds. Slow. Actually, slower might be easier because you're training your muscles. Mostly from the wrist, but the impulse starting in the elbow. Or you can think of it this way. Do it with the wrist, but allow your elbow to follow that motion. Don't just make it the wrist like this, but make it the wrist like this. I don't know. It's hard to describe. And then fast. And then another thing you can practice is to slide actually half steps up and down, and then do the, so you're like letting your finger release the pressure, move your hand, just slide your finger up a half step, then increase the pressure a bit, anchor it again, and do it again. So it's like this. Starting in third position. Up a half step. Up a half step. Up a half step. And then you can go back down with your third. The hardest finger to do vibrato with is actually your first and your fourth. So to encourage yourself, start with your second and your third up in third position, and that'll be easier. Relax, always relax. Always take a break, 3 minutes, take a break, stretch a little bit, let it go, and have fun. You can play along to things too, karaoke tracks, so it's less boring. Get into a meditative state with it. J'attendrai. Good luck.